think I missed the Norlin era, right before the Norlin era.
Whew! Here we are. We're live.
It's us.
Look at you. Good morning. Everyone's here. All the boys are back.
That's right. The boys
Alex,
are back in
what's
town.
up? Talking some North Carolina, Western North Carolina love this morning.
That's right.
I was just saying, I saw a post where they were, some folks were taking donations, like guitars and instruments for musicians in Western North Carolina who lost all their stuff, but who need to obviously be gigging to make money again. And I have a guitar I'm thinking about giving to them.
That's actually a cool thought. I got something at home.
You know what I mean? And I was trying to think, like, if there was anything else I could scrounge up, because I probably could. But I have to find the link again and see. I saved it, but just to see, like what they're taking and all that kind of good stuff.
I like it.
All that kind of good stuff.
I like it.
So.
I like it. I'm going to have to get in that. We got the Mighty Woodrow in there.
Whoa! It's crazy already.
It's one of those mornings.
I've already thrown my water bottle. Someone's asking about the SG. Taz. Sean Dillon. Sean, you guys don't know, Sean basically is Bob Dylan. You should have been in that movie.
How does it feel?
Have you seen the movie?
No.
Or like,
I've
not
seen
seen
the
it,
trailer.
but seen the trailer?
Yeah.
It's not out though, right?
Yeah, it looks like it'd be all right. Timothy Chalamet's okay.
It's fine.
He's not
I
like...
think it's going to be neat.
I
like that they're focused on the whole like going electric and everybody hating him for a bit, I kind of dig that.
Judas.
So.
How does it feel?
How does it feel? But anyways, oh yeah, can you tell us about the Walnut SG in the wall in many videos? Is it Norlin era? How's it play?
Well, here's what I want to get first off. While Johnny's grabbing that, Derek, can you give me the specs for the Norlin era? What years specifically?
Okay. Those years are from 69 to 86.
69 to 86. Okay, so Fender CBS I know is 65, 66 to about 83, if I'm thinking correctly. So we got a similar time frame. Not much, but it's there. They're within, that 4-year gap of each other. Just to start off, this is a Norlin era SG.
Now I will say this, right? How's it play? Not very well. But
that's not the guitar's fault, I don't think.
It's not. It could play really well, and if you get a little used to it, it actually is fine to play. I have borrowed this guitar on several occasions for recording because it sounds awesome.
It's a good guitar.
So it actually is really good. Now
I say good. You know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, would I rather have a current custom shop SG? Yes. In every way.
100%.
But this is cool. There is something cool about this, It's got a really thin neck. The neck just kind of feels inconsequential. But every time I play an SG, I have a lusting for an SG. I will say this. Here's what I don't understand. And maybe we can crack this today as we figure out whether we want CBS era, not pre-CBS, CBS, or Northern era. But when I play the new production SGs, I feel like the neck goes, 50 miles out yonder. I don't feel that way with this. Even though it's connected right at the same spot, I got all the access.
Yep.
And I don't feel that way with the custom shops. What is why? Like, what's happening? I don't understand.
I don't know. I wish I had my SG here to compare,
Yeah,
being
me
that
too.
it's like right before too. But that one has a similar feel to it, but the neck feels it's a little tighter. That is.
But this,
funky.
now all of this being said, right? Like, I would take this guitar and gig with it and play it and be really happy.
I got a couple of
And this is what, like early 70s?
Yes.
Like,
yeah,
what do we figure? It was
I
like
think that's-
71 or something like that.
Yeah, like right in there, 71, 72.
Had a Bigsby at some point. I don't think it was original. I think that was just,
What
somebody put it on, took it off. But
I got a couple of like challenges, right? Like we'll poll this a little bit. So starting off, we got, let me hold that guitar for 1 minute.
hold it, take
We
it.
got big headstock versus the headstock Volute. Okay. So I used to hate big headstocks, and then I started to love big headstocks.
I'm still not a crazy big headstock fan, but occasionally I see one and I'm just like, okay, that's right. Your guitar is a very good big headstock guitar.
It's got the transition year logo. It's a big difference.
Do you think, Shane says that is one ugly guitar. Barry McGee says he bets all that SG needs is a set of John Mayer strings. It could be,
Silver strings.
I wore my Who shirt today, by the way.
Who?
Still hate the Who. I'm mostly kidding. We're appreciating the Who. But I was going to say something, I forgot what it was.
So Mayor McCheese says big headstock equals more sustain. I want to agree because obviously I have a big headstock guitar. I think what adds more sustain to my Strat is I got the bridge snapped, and also I do my strings so that the wounds go down deeper, so it cuts more at the nut.
Everyone should do that. If you don't do that, like on vintage style tuners, I think you're missing out a little bit.
That's right.
Yeah.
Straight up. Now, here's another fun fact.
Telly's Strats, doesn't matter.
Speaking of the sustain and the vibrations of the neck, right? And we'll talk about the volute too. We're gonna do some back and forth here. Mine the other day, I put a shim in it because there's a little bit where the neck's coming in, just a little bit at
In the Strat?
In my Strat.
What'd you use for a shim?
I used a business card. That's what
Okay.
I was learned to use at a young, ripe age. And I was like, all right, business cards it is.
Business cards work. How do you feel about people that do picks?
Oh, it's way too much. Way too much.
I mean, it's got to be like a tiny,
it's got to be thin as a mother.
You know that for a while, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if I'm not mistaken, all the Nash guitars were shimmed with a pick. I mean, I'm talking like a .4, you know?
I know, but still, that's wild. I'm like,
but he always thought they needed that. And then, I like our buddy Dan does it.
he does
with
sandpaper.
that sandpaper with the adhesive on one side.
Yeah, so it grips it.
And I think, something to that.
I put it on there, I dropped a business card in, and here's the first thing that I noticed. It did fix the issue that I was trying to fix, but the neck stopped vibrating with the body as much as it did. And that was a definite noticeable thing. Like the guitar actually kind of got a little quieter. It was weird. So I was like, okay. And Baxter played it. He's like, you got to fix this. Something's not right. So I didn't tell him what I did. So I dropped the shim out, put it back on, bolted it back up, back to what it was. I adjusted the action and stuff still to fix it, and I was able to fix some of the issues that I was having. But wow.
Wow, I would have liked to have felt it. Both ways.
I'll do it again. I don't care. I'll show you. And just for the sake of experimentation.
Because someone put a shim in one of my guitars one time. We'll say a luthier.
A dude.
This is a long time ago. It was in Nashville. But yeah, dude. I took the shim out and took it back to him. I was like, what? I don't understand. Why did you know what I mean? Because it just played. Everything about it got worse, right? And then he was like, yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. And then he did fix it. I don't know. It ended up being fret leveling and playing with some different things. But it's just weird.
Yeah.
Tom says he uses the Sweetwater Tootsie Roll. Listen, the other day I ordered nothing big, just like the Diodario, the little fret polishing, the little sheets. I like those, and a sound hole cover.
Yeah.
Stop feedback on my acoustic.
Because you're a man.
Because I'm a man. And I took out what I thought was the bit of honey. And it was a banana Tootsie Roll. And I've never been so disappointed.
Really?
In my whole life.
Banana Tootsie Roll, not bad. I don't mind a banana.
That's not true.
I love horrible. My favorite Tootsie Roll.
There was a normal Tootsie Roll too, but I'm just saying.
Disgusting.
Bit of honey is the best thing.
Favorite Tootsie Roll is vanilla. Love vanilla Tootsie Rolls, dude. All day.
Yeah, those are good. Those are good. Alex says there's some aftermarket neck plates that claim more sustain. Do you remember that thing that went on the?
Yeah, the big. Yeah.
I don't know about all this.
Maybe I need to see it in action. Here. Okay. Well, let's talk about the volute. Ideally, it's going to stop headstock breaks, right? Well, this one's headstock has been broken. So it didn't really work.
I mean, when you do drugs and then beat your guitar to the ground, I mean, things they can only work so well. No, I don't know.
I don't know either. What does that matter?
No, to me this doesn't matter. This matters less than.
Yes.
And in fact, I'm probably in favor of it. People have asked forever for them just to put volutes on the back of Les Pauls and SGs to keep them from breaking. So I don't care. Most Martins have the volute. I just don't care. Like
I don't care either.
To me, this is an iconic thing that I see or feel like the headstock on a Strat, right?
To where this is just like a detail that maybe should have improved the guitar. And they
like when we talk about innovation, like we kind of want innovation not in, we changed the shape of the thing up here that holds your tuners. Like how about these kind of things that make it actually better?
And to think that they've done stuff as radical as the Robo tuners, but they have not gone back to the Volute. So in a weird way, does the Norlin era win because this is innovation?
Well, I think if we were going to do this right, like we have to set it up and have like categories of innovation, just straight up quality.
Yes.
Like I feel like sometimes the Norlin era stuff, like the binding and stuff comes. I mean, I don't know.
I know what you mean.
I don't know if it's that cut and dry, but it's definitely a point to me in favor of the Norlin era.
Yes.
Who has better pickups, you reckon? Would you rather have CBS pickups or would you rather have Norlin era humbuckers? Because like I said, those sound pretty good.
They're not bad, right? They're not bad. But I have played a lot of 70s Strats that I loved the sound of the pickups.
I mean, how many? Dylan, you're the man. Thank you.
Dylan, I was hoping you were going to deliver it on camera. Like, you gotta, show your face.
Sean wants you to hold it while he drank.
Yeah. Exactly.
Is today's Dylan's, his, what?
It's
Send
Dylan's
Dylan,
birthday?
send Dylan stuff. Send him virtual shots.
It could be my birthday.
It could.
I mean, not to be like, oh, Dylan, I wanted you to just be like, oh, thank God for Dylan. Ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
You got to
come in. You got to come in here. Come to the middle. Come to the middle. This is Dylan. When we talk about Dylan, now you know.
This is Dylan.
This is Dylan.
He was gracious enough to bring us
I bring good things.
the juice of the gods.
We don't let him on camera because he's a better guitar player than us, and we're all jealous.
It's true. Exactly. He would make us look bad.
We don't want to be destroyed.
Rock and roll.
Throw
me that burrito, dog. I need that thing. I'm gonna die.
Listen, I'm seeing. Are these both things that are the same? What is that?
It's a breakfast burrito.
You got a breakfast burrito?
You think I have to heat it up?
Nah. Is it frozen or just like cold?
Nah, that'd be fine.
Who wants Sean to eat his breakfast burrito frozen? Hands up. Hands up. I'm seeing a lot of wide range humbucker level here. And that might be enough to push CBS.
And I was going to say.
Because listen, I do really, really love the 70s wide range humbuckers.
Well, and here's another one that I thought of, right? We have an era in the 70s where Gibson and Fender are going after one another.
Yep. Well, that's where the wide ranges come from, right? Like, they're like, hey, got to make us some humbuckers. We're losing. We're losing out. How is it?
Cold.
You haven't lived until you've eaten a cold a burrito that's frozen in the middle.
Why we got the two guitars I want to talk about. We got the Gibson L6, which is their attempt, sort of, at a quasi solid body Telecaster-like thing. Maple guitar.
I don't know. I've never been a fan. Now, Greg says Norlin era Tim Shaw's, which he's right. It's just funny how Tim Shaw, all these guys bounce around to all these companies, which is kind of fun.
Well, this brings us back to the wide ranges. Fender had their 335 clone, which was the Starcaster. I personally love the Starcaster. That guitar's dope to me.
You would.
Maybe the L6 is a really bad example to go toe-to-toe here, because I feel like the Starcaster immediately kills it. Like, immediately.
Yeah.
What else would you compare that to? And this also goes to the pickups, too, because the wide-range pickups in those are dope.
They are really good, you know? It's almost hard to compare model to model like that, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I think the question, and I need everyone to put your answer in the chat. If you had to pick, you got a gig, play, live with. Do you want 70s, Norlin era Gibson. You can only play one or the other. You can't mix and match. You can have anything Norlin era Gibson. You can have anything Norlin era, or not Norlin era, but CBS Fender. Which one are you picking? I don't know what my. This is why I love Tom. I don't know, man. I don't know which one I'd pick. Actually, honestly, I think I'd got to go Fender. I don't know though. Somebody mentioned they're like 71 335. I've played some killer 70s 335, so maybe that's the answer.
Best 335 I've ever played was a 1981 335.
Birth year. My birth year.
It was ridiculous. I mean, it made no sense.
I mean, but you know, like you think you got your Starcaster thing, you got the Tele Customs and Deluxes and Thin Lines, you know, all really cool, all have a wide range in them.
Yep.
The Deluxe has got the fat headstock, if that's what you're into.
Well, Deluxe Telecaster versus Deluxe Les Paul. What, like, mini hums?
Nah.
I don't like the big headstock on a Deluxe Tele. I'm like, what happened?
I used to not, but it
box.
really has grown on me, and I'm biased now because I have one. But you know, I don't know. I just kind of dig it. It's kind of fun. It is weird. That was a weird decision to make, right? They're like, well, here's our flagship Tele with the 2 wide ranges.
And the big
put the big Strat headstock on. I feel like drugs might have been involved in there. Mighty Woodrow says Norlin era for versatility. I get late 70s ES345 with the coil split and the phase switch. Well, then there's all the, what are they, the 347s Norlin era with the weird little bridge on them.
And they got the coil split.
We've played a few of those that were pretty good.
I
I didn't think I would like them as much as I ended up liking them. Man, it's just hard. I think the takeaway, and I hate to be all diplomatic and happy and nice here, but I think the takeaway is that actually probably neither of them are as bad as people make them out to be.
No.
We've all held up like the 50s and the 60s, my God, and you know.
I agree.
Yeah.
Guys,
Now,
show off the CBS thin line
oh yeah, do it.
behind Sean.
PWA has a really good point, and I like it. Here's what I was trying to say. He said it better, or she, or they. Dogs are dogs no matter what decade. Treasures are treasures. That's true. That's the reality. That's the takeaway. Or you could have that nice Hagstrom back there.
Here, you hold that thing?
Let me just hold it. See, now this is cool.
It's cool.
It's a cool guitar. It made some hits. Radney Foster owned.
Who?
Purchased from Carter's Vintage.
Yep, from Carter Vintage.
No.
By our very own Derek Numbers. Got the F-hole covered in.
Beautifully
I don't know if you guys can see the black. He colored in with a black magic marker, which I think is pretty funny. Someone did.
Randy.
I like to think it was him.
He was shooting up one night and he was like,
I just hate the look of that raw wood. Bring me the marker.
They also chiseled their name into the sound hole, I think. If you look real close.
Let us look.
That's amazing.
They did. B. Andrew. B. Andrew. Chiseled their name. That's really hilarious. You probably can't see that, but it is what it is. You know.
So who had
I tried my best.
Who had the more iconic guitars of the era? Fender, right?
I feel like this has become an iconic guitar in a different model in its own right. Mm-hmm. Probably the most, like obviously Norlin was doing different things, but they were still like their own models.
Did they put out
think so?
really groundbreaking guitars in the Norlin era? Like Fender did? Fender put out a couple.
I mean, it depends on how you look at it, right? Because they redid those Explorers in the late 70s, right? Some people love those. Wasn't that that's a big part of...
They came back, right?
Yeah.
Not necessarily, yeah.
Fender came out with the thin line Tele, the Tele Deluxe, which were huge and are still in the lineup.
And the custom with the the Tele pickup and the wide range and the normal Tele headstock. So. And I kind of dig all those. I dig all those models. This actually doesn't play bad, Derek. I forgot that this plays pretty good. I know you were talking about refretting it, but This isn't any worse at all than that SG, Baxter's SG.
Yeah.
I mean, this thing has been reissued
Yeah.
probably just as much.
I will say this for Gibson. I think the reissues are better than these. I think the originals of these are better than all the, because all the Mexican reissues of these don't really sound like these because they weren't the same, composition of the pickups.
Well, and also I feel like with the reissues, they always do something weird to the necks where they make them like thin. For the Fender ones.
Tom says, do we have a big headstock and a small headstock here? I don't think we have a big headstock Strat, do we?
No, but we do. We got them next door. We got, what do we got? We got the Jaguar, which is a big headstock. But,
Mary McChee says the T-top humbuckers sound amazing. I do think they sound amazing. I do like them. Let's see. Homegrown Son was asking us. Man, he's building a guitar. It's going to be called Poison Ivy. And I feel like we could all weigh in. Here we go. Should you place a 3-way or volume on the top? Oh, I like the traditional way. I know a lot of people like it flip-flopped. What do you like? Selector up here or volume up here on a telly? You like them flipped? You like the flipped plate?
me personally, I don't like to flip the plates.
Yeah, see, I don't really either.
Just, it's more of an aesthetic choice, I guess.
Nathan says big burritos and big headstock. Enough said. I can be with Nathan. I'm okay with that. Okay, Mary McChee says, are they not as bad, or are the 60s ones not that good? We love them, but they were not that well made. I mean, you could argue probably either way. Peter Moore says, new Gretches. The answer is yes. Yes, the new Gretches. I'm a sucker for a Gretsch. And then Gretsch had its weird Baldwin era, where all the binding rods comes off.
Slices your arm open.
Is there any, I guess PRS hasn't had they've been owned by Paul since the inception, right? But sooner or later, they're going to change.
Their time is coming.
Taylor's kind of going through it right now, I feel like, with the Andy Powers days. Not that I'm saying that they're not, bad. It's just different when somebody takes the reins. You know what I mean? And Gibson obviously has been around so long that they've gone through all these different. We don't think of them as the whatever era right now. Norlin was just when they kind of went down, started gluing pancake bodies together. I don't know. Didn't this era of guitars lead to brands like Schecter? They started as parts companies, but started making guitars because the big brands were letting down their customers. Absolutely. This is very true, I think. And you could probably claim that for lots of different things. I think you can make an argument for that across different eras for why Collings exists, and all those boutique sort of Martin things. You could definitely make all the different companies even Charvel and stuff like that. I think you could make arguments for Fender and Gibson not giving people exactly what they wanted and leaving space in the market where they wouldn't, maybe wouldn't have.
Without them doing that, they wouldn't be able to have spawned all these brands,
Yeah, which maybe is good, maybe is bad.
Randy Rhoads Flying V.
Yeah. Okay. Mary McChee says, did y'all see Kirk carved his initials into the back of Greenie?
Oh my God, no, he didn't. Did he really?
I haven't watched that episode yet, but it's on my list to watch. I'll probably watch it this weekend. But man, I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, it's his guitar, do whatever he wants to do, but that's just kind of weird.
Not a fan. Not a fan. I guess it's fine. I shouldn't say anything.
When he plays it through his Axe effects every night in front of millions, it's just like Peter Green or Gary Moore.
We were talking about this yesterday, and this is no shade on Kirk Hammett.
Something happened.
But
something happened. It's not him. He's a clone.
We get to the Black Album, and it's like,
they clone him just like McCartney.
Who's gonna do blues licks?
Well, Baxter kind of said it, right? Baxter, believe it or not, is a huge early Metallica fan. No, there's nothing wrong with that, right?
He's a big Kirk
Metallica,
fan.
he's Kirk Hammett fan. Metallica's great, but it is, for some reason, it has gotten easier to kind of poke fun at them, and that's all that is. We don't hate Metallica or anything, but It was just like like playing these really written out like awesome like kind of metal solos, and then it went to like let's just throw a while and play like okay blues rock solos. I'm not sure what happened. Now I like those too, but I understand why if you're a fan of like thrash metal, you know, I think, and I don't think this is controversial. I think that what's his name is probably the better guitar player. Hetfield, James Hetfield. Just because, obviously not like he's a soloist, but like, it's just, that's really pretty amazing, so the stuff he downpicks. But you know, whatever. Whatever.
His rhythm playing is, I'm trying to teach a couple of songs from the back catalog.
Yep.
Wow.
Tom says, is there such thing as a semi-hollow Les Paul? Yes, Gibson's produced that quite a few times. There was like there was an ES, they called it like an ES something. But they've made different iterations of that, where it's like a Les Paul with F-holes, you know. I've played a few that I thought were cool.
Tom also made the comparison, sorry, not to interrupt on
Interrupts.
that, but he said, like, Malcolm Young is actually better than Angus. It's like, yeah. Better is a word. It's more like
More creative. Like what he does is a little more
interesting.
or like it's innovative by God.
Innovative.
Mighty Woodrow says Johnny Lang killed it with the Telly thin line. What happened to Johnny Lang? It's like he just kind of
Who?
lie to me. What was that? Was the first one to lie to me? I remember that. He was like I remember him and what's the other guy's name? Kenny Wayne Shepherd, kind of coming out at the same time, and Johnny Lang was younger. And I kind of dug his thing more, but then he kind of got, I don't know, I feel like he fell into obscurity. And old
Somebody
Kenny Wayne's
needs to
kept
bend
kicking
Kenny
around.
Wayne over their knee and spank him for red and blue on black, because now
Blue
every
on
time
black.
we go out to any bar,
Let's play something that really rocks.
blue on black, black.
Listen, I don't always love the Kenny Wayne stuff. I feel like when he like came back, is cooler now, in my sort of opinion. I will say though,
I like when he came out.
it was bound to go downhill today. At some point.
Cheers.
Now he had this interview where he was like, you know, he's like playing this. He's like sitting on his car and he's talking about like he just had this heartfelt thing about how, you know, these hands got me this guitar and this car and this house, and I was like, well, that's kind of cool, you know, like the rags to riches.
Hey, we can go do the same thing.
Listen, these hands
Let's go get drunk. We'll go
got me
drink some
my
beers.
2008 Ridgeline.
Hey, exactly. We'll stand there in the back of our house and just be like, see that?
Oh my God!
Right here.
Amazing, amazing.
The power. The power.
That's amazing. Peter Moore says he has tons of 80s and 90s vinyl. I like vinyl.
Yeah.
Vinyl's good.
Vinyl rips.
I like Steve's comment. What Cliff would have said.
Oh yeah, dude. All the way.
Maybe that's what they needed. Mary McCheese loves saucy Sean Dillon, by the way.
Hey man, the saucing happened well before.
Did Kenny Wayne Shepherd marry Mel Gibson's daughter for real? Is that a real thing?
You remember that infamous phone call?
No.
He was
no.
talking about
Listen,
Kenny Wayne.
You keep Mel Gibson's name out of your mouth. He's
What?
the Patriot, damn it.
He was
Don't
talking about what?
We all have our moments. Apparently.
What?
Apparently.
Huh? We all have our moments.
God, I had actually forgot that until you just said it. That's really hilarious. Man, I didn't know that at all. I didn't know that about Mel Gibson.
Oh, the phone call? You didn't know?
Todd Roy says she looks just like Mel. Hey.
Oh, that's got to be rough.
I just know that I feel like Kenny Wayne's hats have gotten larger and larger and larger.
Yeah.
And I can respect that.
You know,
Like a
I think
good
it's
hat.
gotten like cooler with age. As oh God, what's his name? Lenny Kravitz.
I don't know.
Like I think he's just aging into being like bigger than he ever was. Like it's like, oh yeah.
I guess so. I
want to get away.
I wanna fly.
No, you're trying too hard. No, we can't.
Best. Well, I remember when that song came out, right? I wish that my friend Duncan was. I used to have a friend. Well, he's still my friend. He just lives far away. I haven't spoken to him in years and years and years. But the guy I went to school with, his name was Duncan Wood, and he played bass in this little band that we had. You know, and we were talking about high school. And I was telling this to my children the other day. Like, he got a bass wah after that song came out. Like, right around that time. And it was like everything we would do. Wah, 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 wah. And I think I actually stole his bass wah and, like, hid it in my closet.
Dude.
I was like, you can have this back when you can be responsible.
Some things,
God,
man,
it was bad.
You don't need, like, bass
But
wah.
Duncan was an
Like,
awesome dude, man.
Like, we don't need a bass wah.
He was, I hope he hears this.
I love effects. I love hearing crazy stuff. Can somebody find me a song that bass wah is used that you can actually be like, oh, see, it's good.
Angus Dillon asks, are we doing the stream late today? I don't think so. We always usually start 10. Yep. I think we started like 10:03 today. We can't be on time. 10:10, Derek
baby.
says. So yes, we were 10 minutes-ish late.
We had to get caffeinated.
Maverick, she says, only a fashionable 10 minutes.
It's true.
That's right. We had to line up our coffee. So, I don't know. Eggles guitars made in England. Are we talking about British guitars? Because, I've played a few British guitars, and for the most part, English guitars.
Yeah.
Like the Tanglewoods. And
Yeah.
my experiences was there was a time where I had quite a few English friends and was going to England a fair amount, and they would come here and buy guitars because their guitars, one, it was way more expensive with the exchange rate, and two, there's a lot of like stuff they just didn't have. This was in 1943, so no, I'm just kidding.
I was gonna say
In the early 40s.
it was
Only
amazing.
Dorian Gray. So I don't know. I never thought they were like, are there any like great English? Like we got Irish, like we got Loudon. Who makes those Avalon guitar? They're all acoustics, but.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I can't really, there's none that I've played that I'm like.
There's, what is it, like Lag is English, right?
I guess Chapman, right? Wouldn't Chapman count?
Well, it's weird because.
Those would be Indonesian.
Well, that's the thing, right? Because like.
By
if
way of
the company
England.
is British, but all the guitars are made
Your
in
Vox
Asia.
guitars might be one of the only
Oh, dude. Vox,
Teardrops.
like, you wanna
teardrops.
know the way to Sean's heart? Damn Vox teardrop or one of those coffin guitars, dude. I'd damn
Did Marshall ever
suck a
dabble with
softball through a straw for one of those.
Let's talk. Okay, we got real things to talk about now,
I
boys.
know. I don't even.
Greg McFadden. No, we're gonna do it. We're gonna open this can and pour the worms all over the table and writhe around in them. Just saw Vincent Ventry left Fender a couple of months ago and is no longer a master builder. I'm so bummed. Does that mean Baxter's and my Jazz Masters have become even more expensive? Yes. I think it does. I think it probably does. It is really sad.
And it is true.
It is true.
And he is no longer with us. He's alive. He's just no longer at Fender.
I think he went back home to visit.
I think he just
Had some family. I think maybe some sickness, and just really wanted to spend that time with his family. And so I would never fault anyone for that.
Absolutely.
So it's really unfortunate
Yes.
for us who love guitars, because I think he was one of the absolute best. But I'm also glad that he left under like good terms, and
Yes.
it's not like,
Well, and something that we've heard from the master builders and other people who are tight with Vincent, and also Baxter talked to him throughout this too, is like some of this stuff is just like, he solely makes these decisions off of like he came here to build guitars because he loves making guitars, not for any other reason, not for glory or any of that. And he just really loves making guitars.
Yep.
So for him, it's all of this is like pure decisions out of that, which is really cool. It's not like a financial thing or any.
Well, and I think
shady stuff.
he probably feels like he hit the goal. He said,
man.
and crushed it, right? And now has this body of work that's out there, and now he goes back to where he's from and hangs out with his family and takes care of his family. And I think that's like Greg said. Greg said he heard it was family related, left under great terms. Yeah, that's I think that's 100% true. But so it is a bummer that and we obviously knew that a while ago, and then had to contact sort of everyone who had Vincent on order and have gotten everybody sorted and all that kind of good stuff. So people have known it for a bit. I just don't know that there's ever been a mass like, oh my God, Vincent's gone, but Vincent is absolutely gone.
We've been keeping it under lock. We've been keeping it top secret. It's a big deal. No.
Bean Lambs says British amps are greater than British guitars. I mean, It's kind of hard to beat British amps. British amps are kind of amazing.
If you guys don't know about car amps, we got a car amp next door.
Hate them. I'm just kidding.
That is god awful. What that man does in that little shed.
You don't want them. Leave them
is
here.
Bad news, okay? Because he's got this thing called the Telstar that is basically a American clean sound, and as you turn it up, it gets like British dirty, and it is.
Yeah, but it's not.
A mean
It's not.
mother.
It's not even like that cut and dry. It's so good. I hate that it's so good because I really want it. I think that I've decided I need to buy an amp this year at the end of the year to write off my taxes for early next year. But which is just really just I want an amp. I don't know if I can afford a Telstar.
I can't either. But it is good. It's
God,
a
it's
damn good amp.
The thing about his amps, right, is they all live in this 15 watts, 12 watts, 17 watts, and they all have built-in attenuators. So kind of awesome. Yeah. I hate that I really do, I did not want it. So I've kept myself away from Two Rocks. Yeah. These are not as expensive as Two Rocks. But the problem with the cars is they're kind of small, and you're like, oh, they're cute, but man, they sound great.
I told Baxter, I was like, dude, I want to see if he can build like a 40-watt boom one.
I know he could.
Big one. I know.
But I mean, everything you read about his philosophy is that 10 watts is the new 100 watt. You know what I mean?
I don't care. Make it loud. I want power. More power.
It's our buddy old Mr. Marla is going to build us our 40 watts.
Oh, I know. He's got some magic coming that he's picking up, dude. I'm like, damn it.
I need to have a conference with him.
Yes.
A conference.
I think we just need to go and kidnap him.
Yeah, no.
Drag him out.
It's true. It's true.
What represents American Dirty? Well, once again, Lenny Kravitz.
Starts with an F and ends with an ender. I mean, I think the American Dirty is. I still think it's like a push Fender. It's like a dirty. It's like a crank super reverb or a deluxe. Yeah. But now in the modern lexicon, you got the Mesa thing is American Dirty. I think that. I think some of the old school brands like Supro are American Dirty.
You know, this is it's like anything. You know, you get to a certain age and you start to reject things from your youth that you probably at one point loved and now you don't love anymore, right? So for me, came up through Warped Tour and all that stuff with all the hardcore bands, and they're all playing those single rectifiers,
double rectifiers, and triple rectifiers, yeah,
all that shit. And I swear, I just feel like it's such a sterile, gross, overly distorted, but somehow so pristine.
How do you really feel?
I mean, it's just, that's how I feel. I'm like, this is just gross, man. And then to be back, thinking back then, I thought this was hard rock and roll and all this stuff.
Nope, it's not. I gotta look something up now.
Exactly. I look back at it and I'm like, dude, that is so, not really. Real rock and roll should have some dirt underneath the fingernails. You know what I mean? I want to hear that stuff cranked, pushing it. I've been working on some music that is that in my head. I'm like, it's supposed to be dirty. It's supposed to be you should hear mistakes. You should hear some angst and some pissed off, Get in there. You know what I mean? You guys get it. I ain't going to tell you. All you guys know.
Where do, the Soldanos, where are they from?
Indonesia? No, I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, they're so maybe okay. So you said Dumbles. I don't think Dumbles can represent American Dirty because I don't think that they are available enough, and I don't think any of us can pinpoint the Dumble sound. And they're not. None of them are the same. Dumbles are amazing. They're a cool legacy. I just don't think they can be representative on the whole of American Dirty. And then probably you would go right back to. So okay, if that's true, then the sound of American Dirty is still just a push Fender.
Yeah.
That's all. But a Soldano, I could, if you could make, if you could say it's widespread enough, maybe, right? But
I raise you this: Dirty American is a Marshall because it's a pushed Fender.
You could, it all goes back to the basement. I mean, you could say that all of rock and roll is American guitars and British amps.
Yeah.
But then you get into the Southern rock stuff, and it's all I don't know. It's still Gibsons and Fenders. It's a little different, but a lot of it you could say American guitars, British amps, and that's sort of the magic sauce.
I think so. I mean,
depends
on what you like. You know what I mean?
It is weird though, right? That the Brits figured out building all these amps from American designs, but they never really did it with guitars.
No, yeah.
They never said, you know what, we can't get those damn Fenders over here. Let's do it. Let's make
Isn't that
it.
strange? Like they like.
I don't know. Is it because they didn't have the right woods and stuff? Could they not get like alder and ash and all that kind of stuff, and there was no like viable replacement? They live on an island. I mean,
Why
obviously
is
there's
that?
wood,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
Is it also like
that was my first thought.
Is it a situation where they just don't like where they're not the craftsmen who like wanted to do that? You know.
Now Greg McFadden makes a good point. He says Peavy is the king. I mean, you do think a lot about dirty, like Peavy's being dirty amps, you know.
Dude, it's just
The Mississippi Marshall.
Oh my God! Look.
I used to when I worked in the.
You can hear the pot now whenever you turn it.
I would make all these jokes about Peavy and like I'd make up fake slogans when I worked in the warehouse at Guitar Center. I'd be like, Peavy, American mediocrity, and the dudes in there would be rolling, but there would be guys who would get offended, which is why I would just do it more and more and more.
Well,
but and they're not. I mean, but you could drop them out of a freaking truck.
Do you know? I used to work at a shop that had a damn shrine. So there was a Hartley Peavy cutout in front of a damn wall hang-up that was the size. I mean, it was probably like 15 by 10 or something like that. This thing that went on the wall with Hartley Peavy behind it. His big ass head.
The problem with him is the episode Undercover Boss. If you've watched Undercover Boss, then you're like, oh God, I just don't understand. Now, PWA says Little Walters, my next amp. Just get on for Robin Ford. Hey, the Little Walters are literally right down the street, like 20 minutes from here, if even that, right? And they're really good. So yeah, Little Walters they're very particular. They're very like, I feel like some amps, and this isn't a bad thing necessarily, they don't leave you like any place to hide. Bogners, I always thought were kind of like that. You know, even some of the high gains, it was like, oh, every little thing you did.
You also need to explain that you do have an egnator. You're a member. What do you want to call it? You know, you're a part of it. You know.
Bruce Egnator. No.
He's got two egnators that he's playing on stage now,
true.
and he actually sets them both up in these chairs that he takes to the gig.
A tweaker.
And he stands in between them while he plays.
Tweakers.
He's got headphones on.
Don't you shit talk, Bruce Egnator. That man is a legend. I remember when I was doing the King of the Blues at the Guitar Center. You could use you could play like a twin, or they had all the Egnators, and it was like,
Look at him.
know. That was a big push there for a while.
As far as the eye can see.
But you know, as I was saying, the Little Walter amps do sound really good, but they are very like every little thing you do.
Oh yeah.
Maybe that's a good thing for you. Maybe that's a bad thing for you. But they're good amps, and a lot of people love them, and I think rightly so.
Dingo Power is definitely probably in Weymouth, is what I'm thinking. Have you guys heard the local band Weymouth? Cool alt-rock group. Nice to hear heavier local music. Yeah, dude. I know. We know all the guys in Weymouth. Sweet Falbo, if you're out there, you need to join Weymouth. I don't know if Dingo Power is Falbo, but whoever it is, go tell Falbo to get back in the band and stop.
Tell him right now. Tell him.
In the words of our Lord. People have told me that they watch this show with their kids, so it's made me kind of want to step back.
I always try to be nice, because occasionally my own children watch with my wife, so I might let the occasional
Dingo Power says
slipper.
Southern Pines. I'm like, okay.
Southern Pines. What? Sopai. Sopai.
Are we doing some self-promotion here?
It's fine. Shameless self-promotion is allowed here.
You can plug. I just want to know who the plug is.
Peter Moore says 1 watt in an apartment, 5 watts usually here, but after midnight, respectful 1 watt. 1 watt is loud. When we got to work this morning, Derek got this like awesome pawn shop find last night, and he had the M80, plugged into an M80, and it was like, I heard him like 3 blocks away. It was kind of amazing. But hey,
hell yeah.
like Christopher says, it's good. Good day. Of course it is.
I'm that dude.
It's a Wednesday, live stream day. But yeah, no, 1 watt is loud of two pints.
What is a
there was a Winky on that Southern Pines.
I saw that, and now I'm seeing.
I don't know what to believe.
What's a blue healer?
You know, a dog.
A dog.
Just like I'm friggin' Bluey. You don't watch Bluey? What's your problem?
I'm lost. I'm lost.
They're like the Australian dogs.
Okay.
Hence the dingo power.
Dingo power. Oh my God.
You know, but I'm pretty sure Bluey is a blue healer.
Dude.
It's true.
Now I'm lost. I'm like, man, I should know who this is. Anyways, Weymouth is good. Go check out Marble
Okay, listen.
Marathon.
Ned says
Give it a
if you can
shout
tell
out.
us all about the Gaust.
The
Gaust.
Oh, the Gaust.
Gaust. Is that how you
the
say
Gaust,
it?
yeah.
The Gaust.
Yep, I'm gonna have to put a little thing that explains
I think you're gonna
how
have to.
pronounce it.
I think you're gonna have to.
Dingo Power can tell us all about the Prague.
He's
folk
Prague
duo.
folk duo. I do kind of feel like Weymouth maybe sounds like it could be a Prague folk duo.
Oh, dude, that would be sick.
That would be sick.
That would be kind of dope.
You
I
boys
would
maybe
love
should
that.
think about changing directions. You could be just like the Goo Goo Dolls.
That'd be sick.
Tom, don't worry, you haven't missed anything. Okay, Tom says I have a Victory Sheriff with a half-watt tap, and it is too quiet. Yeah, half-watts is really quiet. I would like to try some of the Victory stuff. I've never played any of it. Have you?
I haven't either. No, we got to see, who was it that we saw play? Richie Kotzen. He's got those Victory signatures.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
sounded pretty good.
If they were real. That stage was weirdly set up, right? And it looked like there was stuff that was just kind of there. But God, you talk about a great three-piece band.
Yeah.
Even if it's not your thing. Like, even if you hate great rock and roll like Sean does.
Oh, terrible.
Like, if you hate Eric Clapton.
Yuck.
But seriously, we went to see that with our good old buddy, Mr. Tontuga himself.
We did. I was impressed. That was a good show.
Well, it's just sometimes like music that you maybe wouldn't necessarily listen to when you're watching it and experiencing it live is still
Yes.
amazing, especially if it's just like powerful and well done.
Well, like
and that was kind of like where that falls for me.
I kind of left that gig thinking like, damn, all three of those guys are just badass musicians. That's cool to see.
Ned said Bluey is a faith healer. She
Faith
might
healer.
be.
Bluey.
She just might be. I like the little sister though, the little one. And I can't think of her name. They're all great. Let's see. Mayor McShee says, I respectfully keep my Marshall in the basement. Marshalls need to be cranked all the way, and even just 25 watts gets pretty loud. No, that's really true, actually.
It is true.
It is very true. And I was talking to
15
somebody
watts is
about that yesterday, about, we were talking about the magnetones, and I was saying how I felt dumb for wanting a baby M80, but the M80 is just sometimes, like if you can't get that master up, you lose the thing, you lose the magic. You might as well be using, a dumb old Kemper or something. I'm just kidding.
It's okay.
But it's just like But if you can get the master up,
You just gotta
let it rip.
Be uncompromising.
Let
That's
it
what
rip.
you need to do. We got a couple of cool questions.
Dingo Power, we lent him a microphone in 2020 for a friend's wedding.
Hey, he
Just
said
a
I'm
local
just
dude.
a local dude. Well, Dingo Power.
We're all
more
just
power
local
to you.
dudes.
We
I mean,
appreciate
technically, everyone is a local dude. Even Keith Richards, somewhere, is just a local dude.
you. Yes,
Somewhere.
somewhere.
He's local to the world.
Like that special part of heaven that the rock stars get into.
Valhalla? You mean
Yeah.
Valhalla?
Yes, that's where he's just a regular dude. Here we go. Mayor McGee said, and there was another one that I saw too, but I don't remember where it went. Anyways, Mayor McGee says, if you could join any three-piece band from history, which one would it be?
Well, you'd ruin it because it wouldn't be a three-piece band anymore.
I love that answer. That was great.
Brad Zeppelin. I'm sorry. No, like seriously. Okay, if I could, so we're joining the three-piece band and we're turning it into a quartet.
Nirvana.
Really? That'd
Nirvana.
be yours?
All day. I would go in there, dude, and I'd be like, sweet. You write the songs. I would love to just come up with cool guitar parts to add in. This.
All I can see is that one Instagram account that's like, what if Jimi Hendrix joined Nirvana and it's the ghost that walks in and it's like, but it's you and you're just shredding and they're like, oh my God, what is happening? That's all I can see.
That account is actually kind of funny because that guy pulls off those styles pretty well. Anyways, go ahead.
I'm never gonna say M80 again. I'm always gonna say it matey, like Ned says.
That's good.
Who would I join? I don't know. Three-piece.
Cream?
Well, that's the easy answer. I would love to be in Cream. Maybe some old Government Mule.
There's certain bands, like think about like the Jimi Hendrix Experience. Being in that would probably suck.
Well, again, I think you'd ruin it.
Yeah.
I think you could have added another guitar player to Cream and not necessarily ruined it.
Yeah, no. I think it would have freed Eric Clapton up to do things.
And I think Clapton enjoys having other guitar players.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm not saying Jimmy doesn't. I just think the thing he does is so like all-encompassing. But see, like Government Mule, I could see like you would add because they do great with an organ.
Yeah.
Who else? What is another three-piece band that I think would be really fun?
Trying to think of all the power trios. Creedence Clearwater Revival, three-piece, right?
Yeah, and that would be fun.
That would be fun. That one, there's room to experiment,
Right. That's actually, it's a good question, and it's a kind of hardish question. I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, but
Emerson, Lake, and Palmer. I'll be like, guys.
Now we're rocking.
We're gonna play this song, and it's got 4 power chords in it. All right, so just calm down, dial it way back. I'm gonna need you to pull all this back. All right, you're doing too much.
We can't afford to tour with a 4-piece. My God.
Guys are running up the bill here.
Listen, the struggle for that is real. Anyone who's tried to play shows knows. 4. The split starts getting a little. It's questionable.
Sorry.
That's when you have to start saying to someone, "Listen, you're not really in the band. We just hired you, so here's $100."
You're just some guy.
Like we're the core. We're the core of the
This
band.
is the core.
So can we hire you for $100 a night? Unless you're the Mighty Woodrow, then you can have like a 7-piece band.
The Mighty Woodrow said mountain all
and
day.
rocket.
That would be kind of fun.
That would have actually been amazing.
It would have been like you could be in this shitty bar band for years and then have the hit and then like start to play like some arenas and like have some fun. But like you still party.
Mary Cheese says the John Mayer Trio. Would that be fun? I don't know. Maybe.
I would make fun of John the whole time. Like,
Which I feel like he'd appreciate. I think he could appreciate
take the
it.
piss out of him.
He
I'd
could
be like,
appreciate it.
dude,
Then you guys would fight. It'd be great.
look, man, it's not funny.
I just
all
did
right?
it last night, and he's John Mayer, sort of like semi-obsessed, you know. I mean, pretty much what he plays is John. And it is not, you know, it's fine. But I was trying to show him Ain't No Sunshine when she's gone, and he had never watched the John Mayer one from the Crossroads. And I was like, you call yourself a Mayer fanboy?
Well, have you? I mean, did you watch the Juan Mayer one?
Juan Mayer.
He did it first.
I am Juan Mayer. That I know we've mentioned him before, but he's kind of amazing.
It's incredible. Oh, the Police, dude? Dude, put me in the Police all day. That would be so fun. I'd be like, oh, shit.
I don't think that would be fun.
Dude.
I think it would be miserable. The playing might be fun.
Dude, are you kidding me?
but-
Watch it like sitting there playing guitar and you look at Sting and he's like taking the shit out of Stuart Copeland on the drums. He's like,
But he's
hey, slow it down a little bit.
Now he's taking the shit out of you. He's like, who's this new kid with the stupid hair?
It would purposely make me fuck up the offbeat, you know, doing the syncopation. I'd be like, fuck you, gonk.
You start playing every interval but a ninth.
Yeah.
And he's just pissed. Andy
Sevenths.
Summers is pissed.
Specifically,
He's like, do you not know what we do? The 9.
Doing it again.
I love my favorite part, and listen, I love Andy Summers. I think he's
Andy
a
Summers
genius.
is amazing.
But my favorite part of the Rick Beato thing is he's like, anyway, I thought I would do this new thing, and it would be like a ninth again. And you're like, okay. But I mean, it's super cool, and it's hard to do, but it was just really fun.
I got a fun John Mayer Police story and Kanye West. Okay,
Kanye, John Mayer, and the Police.
2006, I think. There was this concert, and it's all over like YouTube. It's kind of like living like a Live Aid kind of thing, where as time's gone on, like this concert, I just feel like a lot of people know it. Basically, it's the same one where the Chili Peppers do "Can't Stop," and like there's this big video of them doing the opening.
What about the Chili
intro
Peppers?
jam. I guess that is a 3-piece, isn't it?
Well, not really, because you got one. It's like I used to have this argument with these friends about whether
AK.
Zeppelin was a 3-piece,
Three-piece.
because you're like, well, are you saying the voice isn't an instrument?
Well, it's like in comparison, he just floats in front, you know.
Right, but yeah.
So the Police are up there, they're playing, it's the end of the night, and John Mayer gets up on stage to play. Maybe it's Message in a Bottle. That's what it is. Yeah, because I've been playing that song, right? So I had clicked that video on. John Mayer hops up there to start playing with him. John Mayer isn't playing. There's no volume coming through the stage. It's not happening at all, and you can see it. The camera cuts to him a couple of times, but you can tell he doesn't know what's going on, and he's kind of like just moving his hands with the ninth shapes. Then they stop showing John Mayer, and then you just see John Mayer in the background, like huddled over his pedal board, like kind of doing this. And then he's like doing this again, and then like he's looking at the camera, and then he's doing this. And then by the end of the song, all he's doing is fucking bending the strings and doing like blues licks, and you're like, what the fuck are you doing? It sounded terrible. And then Kanye West gets up there, and he's just like yelling. It's pretty funny. He's in the phone zone now. It's fine.
Sorry.
But they do all that, and then Sting is like red in the face, as red as can be, like pissed, but like kind of chuckling, and he's just like shaking his head like this the whole time, like annoyed. It's great. Go watch it.
Do you think Like, do you think you'd like to hang out with Sting?
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
I don't know.
What do you mean? Like, I'd party with Sting all day.
I want to party with
Stingy.
Sting. I want Sting to be cool. I'm just not sure.
I'm an
Somebody said, but now
in New
it's
York.
possible because what? Let's see. Rocker534 says no on the police. Watch Rick Beato's interview. Copeland. Sting was a control freak. Maybe Copeland's the asshole. I don't know.
Stuart Copeland. I've listened to a bunch of podcasts with him in it. He's an asshole, but in a good, fun way. Like he's just funny.
But you know, it's hard. I think sometimes it's hard to be a genius and not be in some ways. Sadly.
Yeah. Well, and he even says
Like
that.
like us, we're just normal, down to earth geniuses.
We're just. So I'm just an asshole, apparently.
That's why we have. We're nice
I live
people,
that.
but just mediocre levels of talent. But then you got Stuart Copeland, and he's like,
Oh yeah.
pretty. I mean, it is kind of amazing what he does.
Stuart Copeland is
but yeah.
great. Andy Summers is great. Sting is great. If you're in that band, I think for me, the joy would be pushing myself to my musical and artistic limits. That's huge. That'd
So
be bad.
Neil would rather hang with Stuart than Sting.
Dude,
Jen, that's probably good. He says if you're talented, he's one of those you gotta be on his level guys. That's probably right. That's probably the right take on it, honestly. What Mayor McGee said, he's like a guy who makes a wicked good potato salad. Also important.
it is. You know he's got like 8 kids, 7 or 8 kids.
Okay.
He's pumping them out, dude.
Steve says he hopes it for the music and not the other thing he listens in case the kids are watching. Tom says the Taylor Swift trio. That would be a great one.
I would go in there and I would just do shredding.
That would
shit
be
all the time.
Have
You're playing over me
Have
singing.
you not seen the intro for the Eras tour? They're all shredding up there. She's playing a red guitar.
Well, yeah, dude. I mean, come on. Whenever
know.
the track's going, you can do whatever you want. You can make it look awesome. You can be like,
I'm crushing it. I'm crushing it. Go watch Wings of Pegasus. Phil is doing the greatest in-depth.
the what?
What's the? It's the Wings of Pegasus YouTube channel.
What the fuck are you talking?
He's breaking it all open on the Taylor Swift controversy.
I'm gonna be able to break you a little
Wait a
bit
minute.
off.
Are you
I'm
telling
not gonna
me
be able to lick it and stick
she's
it.
not singing? You telling me that there were tracks involved? I mean, like it's interesting videos, but I feel like all the things he's saying is like, how would you not know this? But whatever.
That's weird. I'm lost.
Whatever.
I'm like, what?
Don't be lost. Just
Wings of
go
Pegasus.
Wings of Pegasus.
I saw Sting with Peter Gabriel years back, and it was amazing.
Was it?
Exactly, dude. Dude,
Was
I
Peter
think
Gabriel dressed like a plant?
I think Sting is one of those rock stars that if you spent 48 hours with him, it would be one of those things where you basically get in the car with Sting, and then the next 48 hours, you can't really
Can't
describe
really remember
what's
it.
happening.
You know,
yeah.
it'd be like running into what's his name?
Yeah.
What's his name? What's the dude's name?
Shaggy?
No,
Shaggy.
the crazy guy, Bill Murray. If you ran into Bill Murray, he's like, no one will ever believe you.
Yes. And then like you just go and do stuff. You're like, what the hell?
I just, my favorite Sting is Money for Nothing. I want my MTV.
Are you serious right now? Englishman in New York?
That's the best thing is when he's just singing and
I'm
going.
an
When they're on Live Aid, he's going. That ain't working.
That's the way
That's
you
the
do
way
it.
you do it.
It's like, I'm so glad I got this.
He's like, thank God I was here for this gig.
Shape of My Heart is amazing.
What?
That other song, how's that other song go? It's the,
Fields
7 days.
of gold.
no, the 7 days when he's like, he's like, one day.
There's some pretty
Tuesday.
great ones.
It's great. Great song.
He's no Phil Collins, but we'll take it.
Who?
Are you taking Sting with the Police or solo career Sting?
Dude, I feel like you gotta have the Police. Solo career Sting is where those songs that we were just talking about came from. But
Yeah, and they're great.
I think you gotta
They're
have.
totally different, but you got to have both.
I want all those boys right around 2003. I'm like, yeah, because they're old enough that they're like experienced, but they'll probably still drink and party some.
Ned says his favorite Sting was in Dune. You're not wrong.
Not wrong. Here's
That was
what
a hell of a knife fight.
Ryan,
A hell of a knife fight.
Ryan Black said, Sting named himself after a little sword carried by a hobbit. I wish I had thought of that and been born sooner. That's great. I didn't know he's named after a little sword.
Have you guys watched the Bee movie? You know, talking about what Jerry Seinfeld's the bee.
Yeah.
And you know how they have all the people on the stand, and they're like, the bees are suing them because they're like appropriating their, and he's like, it's a Prance About stage name. That's my, it's like Sting is on the stand, and they're suing him because he's used this thing. That is an amazing scene for a cartoon movie. I'm sorry, I know all the cartoon movies because I have children.
That's a good movie though.
That actually, it's a pretty good movie, and it's a great version of Here Comes the Sun. But
do you
anyways.
like jazz? There's so many like good like one-liners.
There are. It might be.
See,
Seinfeld's
Ned already
best
hit
work.
it. Ned hit it, but right as I said it, I think. That's funny. He's like, you like jazz?
You got the voice down good. It's good. Genesis was a trio when Peter Gabriel left. Yeah, I guess so. Right?
Genesis was what?
Like when Peter Gabriel left Genesis,
Yeah.
it was a trio for a while. I don't know if they replaced somebody or what, but yeah.
Well, I mean, Phil Collins, I think he still played drums and just sang too. So here's the real question, guys. Genesis before or after? Obviously, all the hits are after.
I've got a soft spot in my heart for after, honestly. But it's just because my dad really loved him, you know, like growing up. So I heard all that stuff a lot. But dude, and I tell you, something that gets blurry for me is early Phil Collins solo, like from Genesis into that stuff. Because I love some of the early Phil. I'm not talking like Disney Phil Collins, but like, you know, some of that stuff and the like, I can't dance.
Well,
you know, and all that stuff. And
now,
the Just Another Day in Paradise. All those songs were amazing.
Here's where we divert. You ready?
Okay.
Because for me, Peter Gabriel post-Genesis, way better than Phil Collins post-Genesis. I will take all the Peter Gabriel catalog. I will put it in my pocket. I love it. I love it. I love it.
I love
Salisbury
it.
Hill.
I don't know that I would say it's just different, you know, but I love it all. It is all very good.
Shock the Monkey, Red Rain, dude. Sledgehammer.
Sledgehammer, God, is so cool. Even that, In Your Eyes, what's that song? That's a great song. That's all great. What about the what's the dude that dresses in the funny covered overalls with they're all sparkly? What's his name? From One Direction.
Oh, Harry Styles.
What about his cover? You remember Derek showed us to it. How do we feel about it?
No.
How do we feel, Christy? I'm sorry if you're watching. That I didn't know Harry Styles' name.
You can't do. There's certain songs. I'm like, I don't think you can get the same energy that was done.
It was a good go. It was a good. It was a good college
it was a
try.
Good try. But like the original Sledgehammer. I mean, dude, listen to that damn bass line. Like, come on, that bass line is hard as a mother to play. I had a student who wanted to learn it, and we tried to play. I was like, dude, we got to get a lot of basics down before you jump into Sledgehammer.
Neil says no one's calling out Mike and the Mechanics. Mike and the Mechanics are cool. Jay Ryan says Phil Collins created a genre, and I kind of think that's true. Now, let's see. Wait a minute.
Wait a second.
Elton John. Yeah.
That's it? Just Elton John?
There is a question mark. I
Elton
thought I
John.
implied that with my vocal inflection. Elton John, baby. I love Elton John.
I love Elton John.
I mean, it's settled. Elton John is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Elton John, he was like, I feel like he was sort of not the originator of, but definitely hard perpetuator of the solo pop star kind of thing. Like he kind of led that and did all of it, you know, like playing the Dodger Stadium and all that shit.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, for sure.
That's killer.
Let's see. Oh, he mean Elton John for the guy in the sparkly overalls. Yeah, no, I guess Elton John was more the original sparkly overalls. I meant the what's his name though?
That's right, Tom. Peter era was an art experiment, while Phil.
That was a good. That was a good.
I agree.
That was a good breakdown of it.
That's why I like Peter.
It's a good breakdown.
Did you also know? Fun fact. This is more of Phil Collins' fact. Phil Collins played on a Beatles record.
Yes.
That's nuts. That's cool. He's like
He's playing
16.
a lot of random stuff. He's actually an amazing drummer.
Do you know?
You guys don't know that, but
You probably know Andy Summers gave Eric Clapton the Les Paul.
gave birth to Eric Clapton. What?
Well, I mean, basically, it makes sense, you know.
I didn't know that until I heard him tell that story on the Beato interview, I think, which is pretty friggin' cool.
That's pretty cool.
Man, Bottom Kitchen, Elton John is my favorite, but there isn't a song of his that I don't like. That's probably where he sits for a lot of people, right? Like, it's just every song is like, wow, this is good.
Yeah.
You know, but, you know. Jay Ryan says Phil's experiment became pop music. Man, we're getting deep here, deep into the Phil versus Peter.
I just feel like don't get me wrong. I love the Phil Collins music too. It's not that it's bad. It's just that like.
I get it. It's not as like groundbreaking in certain ways, you know.
Like Peter Gabriel pushed the boundaries of music like as a whole, and then was like, and did it pretty damn good. You know what I mean? It was badass.
I'm okay. I'm all right. Okay, now I understand that the sparkly overalls was Elton John was a question to was he sparkly overalls, and he was another one. Apparently, there's more sparkly overalls than I was given credit for. You know, is Rick Beato the Wolf Blitzer of music interviews? I suppose so.
Rick Beato is afraid, guys.
Benny and the Jets. It is annoying if you hear it too many times. I'd say one listen. It's fine.
Listen.
But if you hear it like every day for like 5 days, you're like, okay, that's done.
Well, it's like the Saturday Night Alright.
It's too much of the
Rock.
yeah. But like the All Right for Fighting, Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting is a great song. I don't know.
Elton John did have 2 bad disco albums.
Didn't we all? We won't even talk about Derek's disco album today.
Did you see that with Rick Beato? This is something to talk about, especially as we're talking about Phil Collins and Peter Gabriel. So, Rick Beato said the other day, he said that musicians make their best works before the age of 30. And he said there's examples of it after, but specifically before the age of 30. Here's where I'm going to disagree with that. Both the guys that we just mentioned, they had been in the game for a long while by that point. We're talking about 15 years in the game as their biggest records ever were coming out.
Well, what's his name? Mark Knopfler was 34 when Dire Straits got signed, if I'm not mistaken. I'm working in a factory.
I mean, there's a lot. Well, and he also said, he had this too, and this is what made me think about it, was the Beatles, right? He said that the Beatles stuff, their best stuff was the stuff that they did before they were, whenever they were together, and none of the solo works stood up to that.
I agree with that.
I disagree, because I think Imagine is a 10 out of 10 smash record.
Yeah, but on the whole, I don't think. You know what I mean? I think the body of work, like, yes, you can point to that and say, okay, this one was. Here's my thought on it.
Go for it.
And then I know we got to wrap up probably soonish. But what I get from what he's saying, right, is you spend your... Well, most artists aren't songwriters in the way that like we think of like Nashville songwriters, where they get up and go to work every day and like write a song.
Yeah.
Most artists, they're like artists and they live it, and they like their first few albums are these things that they've been inspired by their whole lives, and then all of a sudden those are out and they're over, and you've been playing them for however long, and now you got to come up with something that's just as meaningful to you. Yeah. And that is tricky. I have trouble with that sometimes, right? Not that, my stuff before 30 was good either, but you know what I'm saying. So I get it from that point of view. But I think the guys who are like more into it as a craft, who get into it and like are true songwriters, I don't think that necessarily is true for.
I agree with that. I also think too, though, it just is very, I don't know, I feel like that's very close-minded to assume that the idea of, that, like we've talked about this before, like what is the peak of a guitar player, right? As far as like the peak of your abilities and powers of playing.
And I would say the song versus the playing. Mm-hmm. There's a ton of artists who I think their albums were better in the beginning, but their musicianship gets better.
Yes, I think, well, and we talked about this, that you hit this prime like 20 years, basically. So let's say you started playing in your teenage years, and you hustle, you play in bands, you cut your teeth, you do all those things, right? I think your peak years of playing, if you maintain and you're able to work on those things and play them at a frequency that is often enough that you can continue to do it, is like 35 to like 55. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less on each side of that. To me, that's where I see guitar players reach that level where they can do all the things that they've already done and do it more precisely, and then they can do new things that they are seeking out and more capable of. And an example of that being like Paul Gilbert just keeps getting better. There's a lot of guys that I see who, they hit that streak, and it depends on how you live. Like I said, like fucking Eddie Van Halen, he had a terrible go there in that time frame.
It's so tricky, right? Because the musicianship part of it is objectively like you can keep getting better. It's hard. You could say sometimes the song is objectively better, but if for whatever reason it doesn't hit like a song that maybe is objectively not as well written, right?
Yeah.
So it's just hard. But I don't know that there's anything about like other than what I said, right? Like I don't know. There's definitely some stuff that I've heard from people that I thought was their best work after they were.
Yeah. Well, I argued
30.
yeah.
But I agree with you on the whole premise that is a pretty close-minded. Like, because then it would be like, well, God, I hit 30 and just hang it up.
Well,
you know.
Yeah. It's like a Chris
you know.
Stapleton situation. There's a lot of guys out there that I think.
Now I think some of Chris Stapleton's best work is absolutely not before he was 30. He's a great example.
All that stuff. You know, I think it is.
But he's a great example to me of like a songsmith. You know, like he's a songwriter. You know.
I think the thing that goes into it, and like all the guys in Idols, one of my favorite bands, all those guys, they started that band when they were 25, and that band didn't take off until they were 35. They didn't put out their first album until they were in their 30s, late 30s, right? So they do that. It's going well. But I think the reason why is that the energy put into the music is there, right? And there's a solid, like, getting to that place rather than, you know, let's say you have some success in your 20s. I think what happens is you don't have this thing to fight against anymore. You're just writing shit to put shit out.
I started enjoying the Rick Beato shit talk.
I mean,
it's just mild, and I like Rick Beato a lot.
I like Rick Beato too.
Like whoever said that it doesn't make it right just because he says it, absolutely.
Exactly.
But he has become this like authority. If someone says we'll just say Rick peaked 40 years ago, that's really hilarious.
Well, and that's the thing too, right? He did a video a little while ago that he said, you know, I used to think that, you know, you can't learn anything after 30, right?
And I think
and then he said like, no, he's like that's a lie. I've like learned new careers, done new things, done all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, I feel like Rick just kind of jumps on and says things sometimes. And I'm like,
and partly I appreciate that. And I feel like usually, and you know, he usually brings it around by the end. Even when he says something that's like, yeah, well, I don't know, man. But I don't know. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Bonnie Raitt didn't have commercial success until she was 39. Well, there you go. I mean, you just never know, right? You just never know how it all pans out. So yeah, there you go.
That's right.
Pete says, John, you've got a wife. Wait a minute, I've lost it. I do have a wife. There it is.
Radiohead.
A wife who likes to.
Radiohead fell off after Hail to the Thief? Dude, have you listened to In Rainbows? Have you listened to In Rainbows? Go listen to In Rainbows. And then also, go listen to A Moon-Shaped Pool, because holy hell, that shit's good. Moon-Shaped Pool rocks my world.
There you go. Tom says casino guitar live streams fall off after 30 minutes. Probably true.
Tom, what do you want, all right? What do you want, Tom?
Ned is not being kind to your boys. Anything else we got today? Is that it? Where we at, boys?
The best thing about him is the Benz was peak Radiohead. Ned, you're just trying to get me fired up now, all right? I love the Benz, but that's BS.
Should we create a Casino Guitars live stream Facebook group page?
Should we? We probably should.
For people to swap guitars and
talk and yeah.
I think that's actually not a bad idea. Would you guys do that if we created a Facebook page, community page thing for just for you guys for like you know, the chats, and we'd be in there. We can continue these ridiculous discussions.
I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Throughout the week and come back to them. That would actually be kind of fun. Well, we'll do that, you know.
Cool to have a swap shop in there, and you can post guitars
Yep,
that are
for sure.
sale and
Yep. And
That
then-
would be awesome because like that way, like I mean, sometimes when I have stuff for sale, I just don't go through the hassle. Even being here, like I have a couple things now. I'm like, man, I should list. But if we had a closed group where people might be
That'd
interested,
be cool. Yeah.
that would be really cool.
And we, you know, post in there, talk about it. We'll give our thoughts and opinions
For sure. Gen Excalibur says do a Discord.
Do a Discord. We can maybe look into that too.
You know,
check that
I've
out.
never really done a Discord, but that might be cool.
that might be a little too techy for these old boys.
We could do that. We
These
could do
old dogs.
we could always do a try out.
Yeah.
Phil Button
check
is
that out.
YouTube only. YouTube only. But anyways, yeah. So we're looking at that. We were supposed to. We got to give away the Delphine. We'll do that next week.
Yep, next week. We'll do a shout out. We'll get you out there.
We'll do the
15.
giveaway and then show you guys what the giveaway for November is.
That's right.
And we'll go from there.
Shameless plug time. Follow Jonathan Robinson, Music
Don't do it.
at Instagram and
Don't
on
do it.
YouTube and on Facebook. Just look up Jonathan Robinson
Never.
Music. He's got a page.
I would never.
Casino Guitars. Go sign up for our newsletter. Go follow us on Instagram.
Ask for Dylan for Black Friday deals.
Ask for Dylan for
Dylan
Black
is the
Friday
man.
deals.
Don't forget
Call,
Dylan.
Ask for Dylan. He'll get you.
He'll hook you
Ask
up.
for Dylan. That's right.
He's the only one that knows.
He is the only one that knows. Follow the Neon Rooster to see some cool stuff whenever we do cool things there. We don't post a whole lot there, but we do some stuff. And then follow the Gauze, my new band.
And check out the guitar sound on that
That's
thing. It's
right.
pretty friggin' awesome.
I got some snippets
fair.
of some songs I've been working on that I think you guys may enjoy. You might hate it though. Let me know.
Could
Follow
hate
it. Boost me up some so that we can get this thing rocking. And I'm going to get some singles and some music out before the end of the year. And Johnny Rubb's working on some stuff too that's really good. Peter says, nope.
Bob says he's subbed again and sober. That's good. That's good.
Follow the yellow brick road.
I'll follow no one. Where do y'all post the most feet pics? I try to spread mine out amongst all the different platforms. So.
Yeah, mine goes between my Instagram pages. So Lil Sean Z and the Gauze.
But yep, we love you all. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Yeah, man. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit the bell, all the things.
That's right.
We'll see you next week.
time.